Okay. So from your past struggles, past experience, what lessons did you learn to help shape your conflict resolution that you brought to the community?
As I said, again, prison. I was very violent in prison. I used to fight a lot in prison. I stayed in segregation a lot in prison. Uh, and as I was telling you, I edified myself in prison. I got a GED while I was incarcerated, and while I was in, I read thousands of books. The Bible, the Holy Quran, 2 or 3 times, the Torah 2 or 3 times. I used to be a walking, talking, quoting Bible. That's how spongy my brain was when I was young, and so anything that came to my cell, I read it, and then I got into studying law, and I like civil law. Uh, and then, as I said, I was very violent in prison, and my violence wasn't amongst other prisoners. My violence was towards prison guards because I thought they mistreated us. They violated a whole lot of people inside the prison, and they treated us just like we was a piece of trash. And that was the reason why I had looked upon. When I see people with a uniform on nowadays, I know how to deal with it now, but sometimes it still pushes like a little trauma at me. But I taught myself in there, and I became what they classified as a jailhouse lawyer. And I started filing lawsuits against the prison system. I was in the Virginia prison system at the time. And I was very good at what I did because a lot of them broke, as again, a whole lot of prison officials didn't know their own rules, didn't know the state law or the procedures so they just felt that they was in authority and they could treat you any kind of way that they wanted to. And I would tell them, no, you can't do that. That's a violation of so-and-so, a rule, this and that, and they didn't care. And so I had some very, very violent confrontations with prison officials. And one time they ran in my cell and jumped on me, almost killed me, and strapped me down to bed and left me strapped to bed for 4 days, made me defecate on myself. Uh, uh, like bugs was attacking me while I was restrained to the bed, almost killed me, and I sued them. And I won the lawsuit. And so they started transferring me around to different prisons, and I just kept on filing lawsuits. And then eventually they sent me out of state to Illinois prison system, hoping that I would have got killed because it was that state out there was infested with gangs. From your vice lords, your GDs, your BDs, every type of gang name that there was. That's where I lived with for the next 11 years in the state of Illinois. I went to every maximum security prison in the state of Illinois. And by the grace of God, I didn't have no situations out there. I was a legal guy, and I practiced my religion, and my prison stay wasn't bad out there, but I've had some very, very, very violent episodes inside the prison. When I turned 19, when I first went into prison, um, that following year, I saw my first murder right in front of my eyes, and I've seen like 5 or 6 men just get killed right in the prison. Some on the prison yard get stabbed. Just so much violence when I was in there, and I tell these young guys, now this is not nowhere you want to be at. You'll kill out here, somebody gonna try to kill you in there. And so we need to wake up and recognize that this is not the road that you want to take. And I'm a living witness to tell you that I did 21 years in there the hard way, not the little easy way. These guys go in and out, in and out, in and out. I went in one time to the maximum security prisons, and this is somewhere that nobody wants to go.
So going through that, seeing what you saw in the system, in the street, until you got to the system, how did you develop that mindset where you're like, this is it for me? I want to change.
Right. And that happened in prison also because, as I said, I used to be very violent, and then I stopped because in some of my lawsuits, they used to bring up my violence, and that prevented me. It's sad to say that's the reason why I stopped doing violence, but I stopped being violent towards them because it was affecting my lawsuits. And so I stopped being violent. And then once I saw that I could beat them without being violent towards them, I was like, man, I'm flexing now. Like, I just beat them with my brain.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that's what I had started doing. And so I took that concept still, is that we must start thinking. So I put that into practice, that you got to start thinking before reacting. I had an officer come to my cell door one day and he said, "You know what, Hunter? You are a smart guy." He said, "But anybody can wake you up by saying something and you'll just go off and get violent, and they know how to get you or provoke you, easily provoke you, push your buttons." That's what he used. And as soon as he said that was the same day, and I cussed him out. But he was so right though. What he was saying to me was so right, and I took it in, but I just acted like I, nonchalantly did, and then cussed him out. But that was my behavior during the time. But I took all of the discipline that I had in prison. Also, I used to be a minister in the Nation of Islam for 3 years, and so I took this discipline that I knew how to practice and started utilizing it, and I've been utilizing it ever since. And so when I came out of prison, I didn't jump straight into conflict resolution, or I didn't know what my path was. You got to recognize I got locked up when I was 17. I didn't get out until I was 39. So when I got out, I've never had to pay a bill before in my life. So this was a new world. Never used a cell phone before. Brand new world. And so, like I said, I went in 1987 and came out in 2007. And so I came out to a brand new world, and my first job I ever had was at Burger King. And I think during that time I was making like $7 to $8 an hour. But to me, it was being locked up all that many years. I mean, I'm doing it. They was working me too, man. Had me load them big trucks and whatnot. They they worked me, but I enjoyed it. And so when I was out, I would see people come in dressed. I was like, man, I want to do something different. I don't want to stay right here. So I was asking people what was they doing and this. But I had a criminal background. And I did this. What the wake-up call was when I went to start looking for better employment. That's when that background started hitting me. And so the reality was, okay, this is the real deal right here. This background has put a glass ceiling over top of my head. What am I gonna do?